This isn't about a few bad stops. It's a system. Two sitting sheriffs, Bruce Williams and Milton Gaston, allegedly greenlit protection while undercover agents posed as cartel movers, pushing test convoys under the cover of real badges. The payoff? Bribes that showed up as cash, sometimes as contributions. In the next chapter, we walk the exact coordination. Routes, times, staging calls, and the serial numbered money that proved who got paid, when, and for what. Watch how a command structure turned escort duty into a business model. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Dealers didn't start naming cops to clear their own charges. They did it because the pay-to-play rumor had become a price list. Small arrests in the Delta kept surfacing the same detail. If you had the right phone number, you could get a patrol car in front of your load and a marked unit behind it. The names tied together across county lines, and when those names kept repeating from Yazoo to Washington, Jackson's FBI office treated it as more than vent talk. Sitting on a wiretap would only catch nervous chatter. They needed a controlled environment where a badge had to act on command, not boast in a cell block. Here's why the tactic changed. Standard undercover infiltration runs long, depends on quiet approvals, and can bleed out if one compromised supervisor gets a hint. Informants can point, but federal court wants conduct. An overt act, a recorded exchange, a pattern. So agents built a scenario that would force a decision in real time. They adopted the role of cartel movers and offered the one thing a crooked cop could recognize instantly: cash for clean passage. The goal was to record a live escort, not a promise. Once a unit flips on its lights and clears a lane, there's no debating intent. They mapped the ground like a logistics company. Yazoo County wasn't just a name. It connected rural arteries that feed north. Humphreys gave mid-delta cover. Washington added urban exits and river routes that feel normal for big vehicles moving late. City departments bridged the gaps with shift overlaps and mutual aid that looked official to any outsider. A state trooper rounded out the picture with highway reach. Each jurisdiction carried its own radio traffic and rhythm, which meant the right lineup could turn 3 counties into a single shield by timing the handoffs. To make the test repeatable and defensible, they set a standard payload: 25 kilograms per run, not a random number. Heavy enough to trigger serious charges, light enough to move frequently without unusual logistics. If the same officers blessed multiple convoys under the same format, prosecutors could show pattern and agreement across actors. Every convoy ran as a discrete event with its own cache, its own timestamp, its own route card. That way, each escort stood alone as proof, and together they formed a chain. Entry came soft. Calls first, short and vague, then meetups in neutral lots and storefronts with angles covered. The pitch never sounded like a sting. It sounded like work. You'll run the lead for a shipment. We cover your time. Cash sat in envelopes, counted clean, sometimes with a code in the fold so agents could match it later. The test probed 2 levels each time. Who would take the envelope, and who would authorize the uniform to move? At the top, the names that kept surfacing weren't ghosts. Sheriffs Bruce Williams and Milton Gaston allegedly cleared deals or eased introductions. In Washington County, some of Gaston's payments appeared as contributions, a detail that made the paper trail look tidy until you matched timing to escorts. The point wasn't a headline, it was a ladder. If command approved, street-level escorts came pre-validated. By choosing to be the traffickers, agents pulled in hard evidence. Planning calls recorded. Payments counted on camera. Texts and nods captured alongside badges in view. Chain of command approvals weren't rumors anymore. They were time-stamped clips and bank records lined up against routes. With green lights locked in, the focus moved. The next step wasn't who agreed. It was how the loads rolled under official cover without a scratch, and who kept the lane open when other units drifted near. You make a fake shipment look untouchable by mirroring the rhythm of a patrol shift. Convoys moved when officers usually rotated posts, and they carried the look of authority. Marked units up front, steady spacing, radios quiet, but ready. Undercover agents set departure windows aimed toward Memphis and Miami, using the same corridors that carry legitimate traffic at off-peak hours. Checkpoints didn't blink at a unit with lights available and a second car shadowing the load at a safe distance. It played as routine. Escorted commercial vehicles crossed jurisdictions all the time. That familiarity was the shield. Every mile brought risk. One honest stop meant awkward questions, body cams rolling, and a forced explanation that could tip the whole operation. A loose word inside a department could send a warning before the next convoy rolled. So the convoys ran tight. Lead cars tapped the brakes at predictable choke points, bridges, four-way stops, and county lines, then eased forward only when the back car confirmed the lane stayed clean. Calls stayed short. The goal was movement without noise. Rolls locked the machine together. Brandon Addison, a former Hollandale officer turned Humphreys County deputy, handled route design along Highway 61 and kept the spacing that sells legitimacy. He placed the lead car where it would be seen first and the second car where it could catch problems without drawing attention. Addison's pay reflected that responsibility. $37,500, the top end among the group. Jai Howard, who worked in Metcalf and later Hollandale, took second car duties. He stayed off the bumper, drifted back at merges, and moved forward when the lead car needed cover through busy stretches. Howard received $31,000 for those runs. Truron Grayson, a Humphreys County deputy, managed local coordination. He knew which patrols might roll through a corridor and when to hold them off with routine tasks on the other side of town. Grayson earned $19,500 for keeping the lane clear. Handoffs knitted rural roads to urban exits. Greenwood's Jamario Sanford met undercover agents where gravel ends meet blacktop, then guided the convoy to known turnouts. In Greenville, officers Martius Moore and Shaka Gaines closed gaps the same way, easing the line from county roads to city arteries without triggering extra attention. Dual roles mattered. Officers moved between agencies and shifts, which made a marked unit from elsewhere seem normal in the mix. The escort never stayed in one set of lights for long. It slipped from county to city and back again. The money trail left its own map. Hidden cameras watched the meets. Audio recorded planning calls tied to each date and route. Cash carried tracked serial numbers assigned to the specific escort and participant. That way, a deposit, a handoff, or a withdrawal could be matched to a single run. When a phone pinged near a meetup and a body cam showed a uniform at the same time, the cash data confirmed the person and the pay. Numbers told scale and roles. Humphreys County Sheriff Bruce Williams accepted about $18,000. Individual escorts ranged from $20,000 to $100,000, depending on risk, length, and who had to be involved. Mid-level participants stacked earnings across runs: $19,500, $31,000, $37,500, each aligned to a convoy that could be replayed on video and on paper. In Washington County, Sheriff Milton Gaston allegedly masked some bribes as campaign contributions that never hit the reports. The evidence stack grew run by run. GPS pings placed cars in order. Dash cams and body cam extracts showed official vehicles and weapons on scene. Badge and shift logs tied the uniforms to the minutes the loads passed key points. Together, those pieces cut out doubt. The escorts weren't rumors. They were timed movements with receipts. Once the routes held up and the approvals repeated, the final step needed timing of its own. Arrests that landed at once, before one call could warn the next unit to vanish. Badges turned into currency. Routes got blessed at the top, guarded on the road, and logged in cash you could count back to each run. That's how protection looked official while the money told the real story. If your county can be bought, your case can be bent. Push for independent review boards, open audits of prior stops, and public tracking of misconduct referrals. Support policies that increase transparency and real accountability for elected law enforcement. Want the full route maps and the evidence flowchart? Say so below. We'll release a breakdown of every role, payment tier, and convoy timeline so you can walk it end to end.